Hey guys, how you doing? I have a bit of a surprise when I woke up today. I have hit 60K, and I thought I would jump on and just celebrate, say hello to everyone, do a bit of a Q&A, talk about all things carnivore. And guys, do me a favor as you're coming in, please smash the like button, and that'll bring some more people in here, help us celebrate. So the first thing I need to say is that we've got some people coming in already. G'day, Richard. How you doing? Thank you very much. We've got Karen. Thank you, Karen, coming in from Ontario, Canada. We've got in the middle of a forest. Jerry, how you doing? Justin coming in, and Jeannie, how you doing, Jeannie? Congratulations. Thank you very much. Very nice of you all. Yes, hit that like button, please. Thank you, Carnivore Stalk. Totally Faith Family, thank you very much. That's very kind of you. Let me know, guys, as you say hello, let me know where you're coming in from, and I'll flash it up on screen. Really, though, hey, Deepwater Homestead, how you doing? I'm, talking about, oh, we got to 60K, that's great. But one thing that's really important is, Jeannie's coming in from Brisbane. One thing that's really important is that it's from you. I wouldn't have got to 60K without you. I can make all the videos that I want. I can do all the interviews that I want, but unless you're watching, you're liking, and you're subscribing, I could never have got here. So thank you very much to everyone. I really appreciate that. Simply Human, congratulations from Wisconsin. Thank you very much. Totally Faith Families coming in from Texas. Okay, and Cheryl from North Carolina, how you doing? Thank you very much. Tall Cedars, thank you very much. We've got Jean coming in from Green, New York. Okay, and Simply Human, working on an impression of you to upload to Metabolic Lifted. Please, I would love to see it. I was trying to imagine what the impression would be like, and I was thinking, it's probably going to be the line that I say in every video. But yeah, I'm trying to. Wondering, what it'll be like. But anyway. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. Okay, so in the middle of a forest coming in from Wisconsin, metabolic paramedic, morning from Scotland. Hey, how you doing? What part of Scotland are you in? I'm from Irvine in Glasgow. That's where I was born anyway. Justin McDaniel from North Carolina. And got lots of people going. This is amazing. Okay, so we've got 43 people in already. Do me a favor, if you haven't smashed like, please go ahead and smash like. DC, how you doing? Whoa, Matt, how you doing there? This is jumping really fast today. Okay, good evening. Thanks for coming in from North Kentucky. Jeannie says, hey, Matt, another Brisbane. Yeah, there's a lot of carnivores in Brisbane. There are a lot of carnivores in Brisbane. There's Jeannie, there's Matt, there's DC, there's who else? Oh, there's heaps more. I think there's I was thinking the other day, there's at least 6 or 7 that I know of. Okay, and we've got yeah, metabolic paramedic, love that name. Cheryl, how you doing, Cheryl? Thank you so much. Okay. Metabolic paramedic, working in Ullapool, but stay down near Helensburgh. Okay. I don't know well enough to know those areas. I was 6 when I left. I know kind of around I don't know, is it called the Clydebank area? That's about all I know. Okay. And we've got Victoria coming from BC, Jeff from North Carolina, and Victoria. Thank you very much, Victoria. That's very kind of you. And Raina 73, thank you very much from Carlsbad, New Mexico, I think that is. Leticia Garcia, thank you very much. Okay, so guys, if you've got any questions, please put a Q in front of your question. If you've got a discussion thing you want me to go over, please put a Q in front of that too, so I notice it. Yeah, I will be happy to stay online and chat and answer questions and talk about things as long as you're happy to stay here with me. Again, I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who has watched, who's liked and subscribed over the last, it's almost 2 years now, well, year and a half that I've had the channel. It's been very much appreciated, or is very much appreciated, and it's been an awesome ride. So there's that. The other thing I wanted to just quickly touch on was for anyone out there that would like to be featured on the channel, or even considering being featured on the channel, would like to talk about Carnivore at all, I'd love you to come on and do an interview. My email address is realzerocarb@gmail.com. And I wanted to talk about something that's really, I think bears emphasizing about the interviews, and this is based on some discussions I had with interviewees prior to starting recording recently. You don't have to have the best story, and I've said that in some videos. You don't have to have the best story. Like, I lost 1,000,000 pounds and suddenly put on muscle while doing nothing but watching TV and all this kind of thing. You don't have to have those kind of stories. Just, it can be you went on Carnivore, you lost a little bit of weight, or you got rid of the brain fog, or whatever it is. It doesn't have to be a massive story, because if every story is massive like that, then people watching are going to be like, yeah, but it's not going to happen for me. I've tried this. I've seen this kind of story before. Not going to happen for me. So it doesn't have to be this amazing transformation. So that's number one. Number two is, again, people have said to me recently, I don't know how I'm going to keep this discussion going for a long time. I don't have this big, massive story. And the thing is, I'm a public speaking trainer, right? So this is advice that I would give to people doing speeches too. It takes as long as it takes. We're not in school anymore, and this is not like, you've got a minimum time you have to be speaking for, like 5 minutes or whatever. If you can get your point across in 2 minutes, and you can tell your story in 2 minutes, then that's all you need to say. You don't have to be talking. You have to be like, now let me find some filler words that I can put in here, right? You just need to kind of say your story, whatever it is, and that's great. No one feels like it needs to be, if he's not talking for 60 minutes, it's not much of a story, or he's not talking for 120 minutes. How do we know this is a real story? It's not like that, right? If it's 5 minutes, if it's 2 minutes, that's fine. Yeah. So that's number two. So there was a third point, and it's escaped me for the moment, but it'll come back to me. But guys, it doesn't have to be this amazing transformation again. And I don't expect anyone to come on and talk for 24 hours about how wonderful the transformation has been. Just a simple story is great. Just, what was the problem that you were facing, whether it was health related, like I had these kind of, couldn't sleep at night, that kind of thing. I wanted to find a solution. What was the problem? How did you find Carnivore? And, what's happened since you've been on Carnivore? "Oh, I sleep better now." Okay, great. That's fantastic. You know, and the people, again, like, that was the third point. So, you have people that are always kind of, if everyone is amazing story, lost 1,000,000 pounds, blah, 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 it starts to become like viewers are looking at it going, "Yeah, it's not gonna happen for me." But on the other side of that, um if everyone's coming on with this massive long story, it feels like, yeah, but that's just not me. It's just not going to happen for me. I can't do that, you know. And um, some people have said to me that I've only been on it for 2 weeks. You feel so much better. I feel great. All the cravings are gone, but it's only been 2 weeks. So I feel like a bit of a fraud or something coming on and talking about, my changes on Carnivore. But again, it's important. Please come on, right? These are real life situations. And, if someone that's considering this can see that, you can get massive results in 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, and they're like, oh, hang on, you know, I thought you had to suffer for 6 months to a year before you could be happy on any diet. This is amazing. Okay, well, I'll give it a try. So, I'm happy to hear from you no matter what your situation is. So please shoot me an email to realzerocarb@gmail.com. And maybe you'll even get the chance to laugh at me as I mess up the one line that I have to say in, in each interview. Um, yeah, so maybe you'll get a laugh out of that too. So I better get back to some of these comments because there's comments and questions. Okay. So I've been talking for a while. This has been going past like nobody's business. Okay. So, all right. First one, Victoria. My blood glucose is creeping up. Is it normal? Started as pre-diabetic 8 months ago. Saw my glucose meter readings normalized. Now it's creeping up in the mornings. Must be the coffee. Okay, so I'll preface this by saying I'm not an expert. I've never had to worry about my blood glucose. Not a doctor, nothing like that. But I would say there's probably multiple factors that influence this. Especially if it's in the morning, it feels like yeah, it could be coffee, could be cortisol, could be lack of sleep. Sometimes it could be a lot of those things. So. Um, again, not having had to deal with it, I don't know, what I don't know to the extent that you need to be worrying about this. So, um, I would I would be having a look at things and thinking, is there a reason why I would be, stressed or I'm not sleeping or things like that. Um, because the reason I say cortisol is because a lot of people have told me that they've measured their blood glucose rising a lot, not necessarily after eating, but after doing a lot of exercise when probably you're stressing your body a lot. So I think just waking up in the morning, your cortisol is gonna be higher. Your body's, I think, naturally gonna be a bit more stressed because you're kind of waking up. So it would seem it intuitively feels like it would be a normal thing for me that it would be a little bit elevated. But again, I don't know. I'm not an expert and I've never had to think about it. So please, if you are concerned, I would talk to a doctor about that. Um, okay. In the middle of a forest, how do you choose the people you interview? Well, so that's the thing. How do I choose the people I interview? Are they on Carnivore? Or have they been on Carnivore and they want to talk about their experience? Like the very, very first person I interviewed was a person who wasn't on Carnivore, but he had been on Carnivore and he wanted to come on and talk about how um, how it's important for people to stay on it. because of how bad he was feeling now, and he was about to go back on it and stuff. It's just unfortunate the audio didn't work out in that one, but, yeah. But typically, again, I'm happy to I'm happy to talk to anyone about this story. So if you've been on there 1 week, 2 weeks, 45 years, whatever it is, please come on. Um, okay. Justin McDaniel. If you could make any non-carnivore food carnivore, what would it be? If I could make any non-carnivore food carnivore, what would it be? That's a really good question. I think it would be, um, hmm, that's a good question. If we're talking about anything that's remotely plant-based, making it totally 100% carnivore, I would say, ice cream. Like, one of my favorite ice creams is from, or was one of my favorite ice creams was, from Baskin Robbins. It's called Jamocha Almond Fudge. And so, yeah, I would make that a carnivore food. Although that's probably the only carnivore food I would ever be eating again, if it was in fact carnivore. But yes, you have to make the waffle cone carnivore as well in that case. So, yeah. Um, Jeff, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Um, There's another question here, I thought. Okay, yes, there are. Indeed, there are. Okay. Um, who did you interview that completely blew your mind with their story? There's a lot of stories that have, I mean, I think many times you can see by the expression on my face, when people say things, what's kind of the information's moving faster than my mind can process it sometimes. I think for me, I think the most memorable one, like the one that kind of sticks out as it blew my mind, was Sean, whose eyesight started coming back. Um, also so many people coming on and saying, I'm not suffering the MS symptoms I was suffering before. Like carnivore seems to have this awesome effect on people with MS. Um, yeah, I guess those are the ones that stick out in my mind. Um, but every person that comes on, again, doesn't matter whether they've been on it 2 weeks, a month, 2 years, 40 years, everyone's got something that makes me go, huh? What was that? That's fixed as well, or that's not a problem anymore. Yeah, everyone's got their own special little thing that makes me kind of go, whoa, okay. Um, yeah, so Justin, most memorable interview moment. Uh, the most memorable interview moment. The fact I can't readily remember it is probably means that there's too many moments to kind of pick something out. Um, I'll come back. Let me star this question, Justin. I'm going to come back to it. I need to give this a little bit of thought. Um, Yeah, I need to give that a serious bit of thought. Okay, Living, really appreciate your channel. We glean more information off all of your interviews than any other carnivore subscription on YouTube. Oh, thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Um, and so Eric, how you doing, Eric? So next target 100K. When could that happen? If you go by Social Blade, it's going to be like, I don't know, next year or something. But I don't know. To be honest, the reason I'm so happy I got to 60K is, because my travel from kind of 0 to 35K was super fast. It really happened quickly. And so I thought, this is great. It's always going to be like this. This is wonderful. And then between 35 and 50, it was like walking up a hill with ball and chains tied to the back of your legs. It was like it just was taking forever. The time seemed to drag, and of course that's relative to how fast I got to 35. I understand that, but it was just so slow. And then 50 to 60 has been almost 2 months on the nose. It's like about 3 days over what it was. I was looking at the date of the post when I went, "Oh, I got to 50K yesterday." And yeah, it's been almost exactly 2 months. And so that's happened so quickly. And so that's why getting to 60K was such a big thing for me, because yeah, the 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 prior 15K was so slow. But next target 100K, yeah, I don't know if I'll even get there, but just happy to be here right now. So that's I'm happy with that. Okie dokie. Let me just scan down the comments and see if there's any questions here. Yeah, okay, we got one. Dun. Have you made Dr. Kiltz's carnivore ice cream yet? I haven't. I haven't tried it. And the reason I haven't is because I know myself. And I am a sugar addict. And I'm not sure if there's any sugar or stevia or whatever in there. But the fact that it's probably got some kind of sweet taste or some kind of moorishness about it means that I just can't go there. I just cannot go there. Um, you know, because like even talking about the Jamaica almond fudge ice cream before, if I could make that carnivore, yeah, but that would be in a perfect world. I actually couldn't eat it even if it was carnivore, because the next thing I'd be breaking into the cupboard and raiding the cupboard for Kit Kats and donuts and all sorts of things. So yeah, once I start, there's no stopping me. I'm like a 5-year-old when it comes to food. um, so, carnival stock. Dave, did your parents ever tell you why they left Scotland for Australia? Oh, yeah. So basically, it was to give my brother and I a better life, or more opportunities in life. So at the time, which was early 80s, I don't think things were looking the best in the UK, especially in Scotland. It was kind of bleak. And Australia also had this kind of scheme where they were encouraging people from countries like the UK to come to Australia, and they were like giving you money and an easy start kind of thing to settle in. And so I think it was my mum that pushed for it. I think my dad was probably happy to have stayed in Scotland. He wasn't in a rush to go anywhere. And my mum just pushed and pushed and pushed, and I think she could see there was probably a brighter future for my brother and I in Australia, and so that's why. So yeah, and then we left. We left when I was 6, and yeah, I grew up in Australia, in Melbourne, Australia, and I've been back to Scotland once, I think, since then in '95, and went back at the worst possible time I could have gone back. Pipes were bursting and snowstorms and all sorts of things were everywhere. So I didn't really get to enjoy it. It was a bit of a disrupted time when I went back, so it wasn't the best time to visit. Okay, Cheryl. At this a week, why am I losing inches and not weight? Other diets, I have never experienced this. In just a week, I think it's probably your body's probably doing all sorts of weird things if you're only a week in, especially like you've completely changed the way you're eating. I assume you were doing a regular diet before this. Um, this is a complete change to the way you're eating. So everything's going to be a bit weird and a bit out. But I mean, even at just a week in, you are gonna notice a difference in your appearance, probably. You know, this is one of the things that when I've started low carb diets, keto diets, and carnivore, um, it's, always pretty easy to stick to from in terms of you can see some kind of result pretty quickly. And for me, that was things like when I look in the mirror, I can feel like, oh, it's looking a bit kind of sharper around here or something like that. Or you know, oh, I've got kind of I can feel the keto breath. And for me, that keto breath thing was always kind of I mean, it stinks, but it was always kind of like had a it's a bit metallic, but for me, it was a little bit of a sweet taste as well, it felt like. So, um, yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. I think things will change. You will definitely lose weight, especially if you're losing inches. But, you know, one thing you have to remember as well, some of the um, weight loss will be offset by putting muscle on over time. But I guess that's not going to happen in a week. But, um, you know, you will notice some strange fluctuations probably because of fat loss and muscle gain, and then of course you'll have water loss at some point as well, and so it'll be up and down a little bit probably. Um, Justin, have you had a standout socially awkward moment due to carnivore? A standout socially awkward moment due to carnivore? Have I? Um, have I? I probably have, but maybe it's not stand out enough that it comes off the top of my head. But I'll start this question and come back to it. I need to think about that one as well. But probably I have a lot of socially awkward moments in my life. Maybe that's why it doesn't stand out. Um, so let me see this question. Okay, question from Victoria. Do you keep count on how many people you've interviewed so far? Um, not formally, but I do have, these interviews in a playlist. Um, the playlist has a few clips of those interviews as well, so I have to take that into account. So, at the moment, there's about 420, interviews, but if you take out the clips that are in there, which are basically you could call repeats because they're clips out of those interviews, there's probably about 405 to 410 interviews so far. So yeah, I'm hoping to get to, maybe we can get to 500 by, um, maybe we can get to 500 by the end of June. Um, yeah. So please send me a message. Help me out. The more I can get out in a day, the quicker we're going to get to 500. Um, and it'd be pretty cool to be one of the first 500. Um, okay. So, Denise, thank you very much. That's very kind of you. Um, and Judy, on the sugar addict thing. Me too, Dave, sugar addict too. It would send me into sugar binge with no end. He does put a bit of pure cane sugar in his recipe. I just can't take the chance. Yeah, I can't take the chance either. It's like if someone said, have a drag of my cigarette or just have a sip of the beer or something, it's just it'd be all over for me. So yeah, no. So yeah, I'm with you, Judy. Just abstinence all the way. Ribeye Ranger, who is your favorite vegan vegetarian to have fun with reviewing their videos? Congratulations. Thank you very much. Who's the most fun? They've all got fun kind of things about them. Um, Neil Barnard, the fun thing about him is he's fun to be annoyed with. Like he just like he I feel like he says things in a way that's so condescending, or not always condescending, but condescending, excuse me, condescending or um or authoritative, or kind of, the way you don't want your parents to be talking to you when you're 20 years old or something. Um, he's fun to be annoyed with or frustrated with because he's like that, right? Um, Michael Greger because he is, like, it's just like he's a parody. It's like, this guy's not real, surely. Like, like, this this a thought just came to you feel like, surely, please don't take offense at what I'm about to say. Surely someone's there with their hand up his bum like he's a dummy. Like, real people don't talk this way. Um, and so he's, what is it called, ventriloquist dummy. Um, so there's Barnard and Gregor, but the other one to have fun with, I think, is Mick the vegan. For a few reasons. One of the ones is because he talks in a way that we would say in public speaking, you would say, never talk that way. Because everything is like ends with a questioning intonation, like everything goes up. Um, so I can't think of something he says. So he said, and the studies and something like that, but I can't do a very good impression of him. But everything's got an upward intonation at the end of a sentence, and it's like in public speaking, you would say never talk like that because you come across as if you don't, as you're not sure of yourself or you doubt yourself or something like that. So that, and also like the fact that he's like, he'll do a video and cite study after study after study after study, and it's like, well, I've shown you all the studies, so okay, video's finished. It's like, well, can you kind of speak to it beyond just some epidemiological study? Yeah, so they're my I guess they're the three that stick out in my mind as people that are fun to talk about. Okay, Justin, I've seen you jump down the stairs. Do you have any other physical goals you're shooting for? Um, Not really. I mean, physical goals, I'd like to put on muscle, but also I'm pretty lazy. So my desire to put on muscle is always tempered by the fact that if I start this and I do put on muscle, I've got to stick with it. And, the prospect of that kind of, makes me not put on muscle. Um, in the middle of a forest. What is your favorite way to cook steak? So the thing is, I don't. Do you mean like how do I like it done? Or what machine would I cook it in? Because if it comes to actually preparing the steak, I don't prepare steaks. The one or two times I have cooked a steak at home, I just put it in the fry pan because I haven't got an air fryer and there's no space in Japan to do anything or have any equipment or whatever. So I don't cook steaks at home. I just do 100% ground beef. 100% of the time I do ground beef. But yeah, like, as to how I like it done, I'm more and more, I'm kind of, I appreciate a rare steak, which is pretty good because even if you ask for a well done steak in Japan, it's going to be rare. They're not, they're good at asking here how you would like your steak done, but not very good at actually doing it that way. I say that because I'll ask for a medium. My wife might ask for a rare steak, and when they come out, they both look identical. So yeah, it's easy enough here to just stick to a rare steak. Um, okay, so that patronizing. Yes, that was the word I was looking for to describe to describe Neil Barnard. Um, I was thinking Muppet. um, Yeah, Neil knew it. Yeah. Um, cheers, Lynn. Um, who arranged a great answer. Vegans are each special in their own way. Please do more reviews. Hand up his bum. Yeah. Um, yeah, so sous vide barbecue, yeah, there's no space for anything in Japan like that. I haven't got any equipment in my kitchen, so yeah, it's just all ground beef. Um, yeah. Thank you very much, Dave. Okay. Um, okay, Ben, what changed from your first interview and now? What changed? Oh, I think a lot of things have changed. So the first thing is I've become much more confident to keep my trap shut. So, I think, one of the things that, when I first started doing the interviews is you tend to over prepare and you tend to, kind of, think of thinking about, "Oh, what if he asks this, what am I gonna ask?" And or if she says this, what should I say in response? And all this kind of thing. And because you are thinking like that when you first start doing interviews, what happens is when you actually do the interview, you find you're talking way more than you should be. And so I started to when I was editing the first few videos, I really started to feel like I'm talking way too much. And like anyone, I don't like listening to my own voice. So I was thinking, well, what should I be doing here? Like, it feels like I'm talking too much, feels like I'm interjecting after everything someone said and going, oh, yes, yes, that's yes, yes, that kind of thing. And it was kind of annoying to edit. Um, and so what I decided to do was take my own advice, which is like, again, as a public speaking trainer, what I would be telling people is, don't feel like you've got to fill an empty space with your voice just because, for example, the audience isn't asking you questions during question time. You know, just wait, just relax. And so I thought, okay, well, I'm going to take more of a back seat, and so that's why I just thought, okay, well, get into the interview quickly because I know myself if I'm watching an interview, I hate the big preamble that interviewers go through that, "Oh, today I'm talking to and I was doing that too. So I thought, "Okay, well, I'm gonna stop doing that and I'll just ask a question." So I asked a question and, I mean, the question. So when I struggle to get out so much because, I feel like I'm parodying myself or something when I ask it. So it's like, "How did you find Carnivore?" And then that's my job's done for the moment, right? Because my job is to facilitate. My job is not to direct. And I feel that's important because if I'm directing, then if someone's got something negative to say, or someone's got something that is perhaps not what I would normally be expecting, then if I'm not directing, then I'm more likely to hear it, and we're all more likely to learn from what people are saying. So, yeah, and that seems to have worked out. And yeah, so I thought at some point someone's going to make a joke about me as being a bobblehead doll or something because I'm always nodding my head. But that's kind of a visual feedback thing also that I've um, learned from being in Japan. So, if you watch a TV show in Japan where you've got presenter or whatever out the front talking, and then you kind of it pans back and you see the whole audience in unison, they're all going like this, right? Because that's just a Japanese thing. It's a visual kind of, I'm listening to you, I'm listening to you. And that kind of works really well when you're remote because if I'm always interrupting with verbal back channeling, then that kind of breaks up the conversation. We end up talking over each other. There's an echo, there's a loss of audio, there's all that kind of thing. So, when you're doing it remote, the visual back channeling works much better. I kind of, yeah. So that's basically what's changed, Ben. I went on a bit of a ramble there myself, so sorry about that. Um, Thank you very much for the super sticker, Judy. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you very much. Um, okay. So, Ben, so you learned from your experiences you're doing great now. Thank you very much. Okay. Brooke, how you doing, Brooke? A family member invited me to a smoothie party recently. I let her know I would be a buzzkill because of being carnivore. Yeah. Um, those kind of things, I wonder if you should just go to them and go, "Bah humbug, I'm just gonna sit and watch, guys. You can talk to me, I'm happy for the conversation, but, I'm not participating." Um, Because one of like, I mean, obviously, I don't know what happens at a smoothie party. I guess everyone's just enjoying themselves making smoothies or whatever, but, um, yeah, um used to feel really uncomfortable early on when um, I would be sorry about that. I just got a message flash up on the screen there. Um, so I used to be really uncomfortable when I would go out to dinner with friends or work colleagues, and I'd be sitting there and I'd be like, "Well, there's nothing to eat here. I'm not eating. I'm just going to drink a coffee." But it didn't take long to get over the worry about that, and I was just like, if they want to socialize, I wanna socialize too, but I don't have to have a fork of lasagna in my hand to enjoy people's company. It's not a necessity anymore, and, yeah, I got over it pretty quickly. Um Mandy, thank you very much for the super chat. Really appreciate that. Thank you, Dave, for being amazing and working so hard. Oh, thank you very much. Really, really kind of you. Okay. Oh my goodness, we've run out of questions. Oh my goodness. So oh no, we've got a question here from Justin. So guys, we have got 136 people in the stream at the moment. And thank you so much for that. Um, if you haven't already, if you wouldn't mind smashing the like button, that will bring some more people in, and we'll get the numbers up a little bit. Okay, so excuse me, I got the hiccups. Oh, that's not going to be good for a live stream. Okay, hang on. If I breathe, okay. If you swallow 3 times without taking a breath, that gets rid of your hiccups. Okay, Justin McDaniel. Uh, who do you find the most inspiring within the pantheon of carnivory and why? Um, Ken, Sean, Anthony. So this is I'm gonna throw out a few names here. Okay. So for me, one of them is Anthony Chafee. And the reason is because he is very, very good at stating his case and not getting emotional in any way. He just very persuasively puts forward a position, doesn't get emotional at all. And I really respect that. And that's always going to make for a more likely positive outcome if you can put forward an argument like that. So I really respect him for that. Um, Who else? I guess, um, I think I'd probably go along the line. I think Paul Mason, is someone I respect, and the reason I respect Paul Mason is because he is able to take very, very complex ideas and, share them in a way that's really easy for people to understand. And that's not easy to do, but that's also the sign of someone who really understands, or is really, really understands their topic, but is also a really good teacher. Okay. So, one of the things that I always kind of a motto I always had is if you can't teach it well, then you don't understand it that well. And so it's very clear to me that Paul Mason understands it really well because he can teach very well. Um, so, and look, I guess if we're talking about kind of the big influences, I guess like, I give a vote for everybody, whether this is Bart Kay, this is Sean Baker, this is Ken Berry, all these people, just generally, the respect I have for them comes from their ability to just go against the grain, literally and figuratively, and just kind of go out there and say, "You know what? Um, I am going to state the case that I believe to be the truth, regardless whether that makes me, an outcast within my peer group." And I respect that because, that's often the way I've felt in business, you know, um, in as far as if I think something's wrong, um, and I can see everyone nodding their head because maybe there are people there that also think something's wrong, some decision's wrong, but they just, they don't want the hassle of going up against it. I'll usually say, no, I don't agree. I think we should be thinking this way or doing this, or why do we have to do it that way or whatever. So, yeah, I know how tough it can be to go against the grain. So, um, again, like opposite to all of your peers. So yeah, I respect everyone generally because of that. I hope that answers your question, Justin. And I hope that's what you were the kind of thing you were looking for. Okay, Deepwater Homestead. Do you check your ketones? If so, what do you use? No, I don't. And there's a good reason I don't. And that's because when I first did low carb back in 2000, I did. I had those kind of test strips that you pee on. And like the thing was, it was like this. Oh, I've got to check. Am I in ketosis? Am I in ketosis? And you'd pee on the strip, and it wouldn't look like you're in ketosis. And it's like, oh, all is lost. Okay, well, I may as well go back and eat crap again. So I feel like it's one of those things that it's up and down all the time, probably in your body, and there's so much risk of like just making things feel a bit more depressing or whatever if it's not at the level you want it to be and whatever. So yeah. Okay. Borgrunta. What would you think of a steak smoothie party? A steak smoothie party? That would be interesting. I'd give that a try. Um because probably, I don't know, with the kitchen would probably not be as messy with a steak smoothie party. Okay, just, Carnivore stock, buy a steak this week. Thank you very much for the super chat, really appreciate it. Okay, okay, what if I okay, question, do you check your ketones? Okay, we did that one. Do, do, do. Okay, metabolic paramedic. What advice would you give to someone starting out a YouTube channel in the carnivore metabolic space? What advice would I give someone starting out a YouTube channel in the carnivore metabolic space? I would say, The most important thing, I think, for anyone getting started is you don't need all the best equipment. You don't need to faff around with all the bells and whistles and the expensive microphones and crazy cameras and all this kind of thing, right? I'm a year and a half into this, and I still use an iPhone as my camera, right? That's an iPhone there. I just happened to have this microphone because of some other stuff that I was doing, and that's the only reason I've got this microphone. A lapel mic that costs you 10, 15 bucks on Amazon is more than adequate. Um, this backdrop is unnecessary. Um, because you can just have a green screen and just put whatever background you want in. I mean, I interviewed a guy the other day who had basically the same color backdrop as me, but it was just a green screen kind of thing, you know? So yeah, you don't need you don't need lots of junk to get started. And the most important thing about YouTube for success is just getting the videos out there, you know? Because when you first put videos out, doesn't matter how long you spend on them, they're never going to be watched the way you think they're going to be watched, because what you think is the best video you've ever made is other people won't, right? Often the videos that I put the most work into on my channel um, do the worst. And it's kind of I don't know, you get so focused on, okay, well, this particular video, this clip needs to be a pixel over, otherwise it looks off, and blah 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 blah. You spend all this time working on it, you get all this stock footage in there, background music and this and that and the other, and then it's like, after you spend a week working on something to produce this 10-minute video and it gets 2,000 views, and it's like, I was sure this was gonna be 100,000. And then you just slap a video together, which is you talking about, some problem you had on Carnivore, and it gets 300,000 views or whatever. It's just, you never know what's gonna happen, and the only way you start to work it out is by getting the videos out there. So don't worry about the equipment, don't worry about all the junk, don't worry about anything like that, just start getting videos out, because until you've got a good number out there, you don't know what's gonna happen, would be my advice. Um, okay, Raina73, thank you so much for the super sticker. Really appreciate it. Thank you. It's very kind of you. Okay. In the middle of a forest. Speaking of emotional, what do you think of Bart K's YouTube style videos? Um, I enjoy Bart K's videos because he makes me laugh. Um, like I've got a memory of one of the first videos that I watched on Bart's channel that I had to watch a second time because it made me laugh so much. And it's one where he's reacting to a nutritionist on the ABC in Australia, talking about how, you're going to get scurvy, that kind of thing. So like I find him amusing. I find him funny. Of course, I find he's very smart, and he knows his stuff, and that's part of the reason um, he he's able to kind of get frustrated and kind of talk to people the way he does. I think that there's probably um, my feeling is that some people probably take more offense at Bart um, than he intends to, because that's just his persona, right? Than he actually intends to come across, and I think that's because um, I think when you are, I don't think that I think people maybe from America maybe are more likely to take him a bit more literally than someone from New Zealand, Australia, or the UK. I think we're more likely to take him not as literally as he comes across, and then um, there might be more of a tendency for people from the USA to take offense at what Bart says. I'm not sure. That would just be my guess. But yeah, I enjoy watching his videos and his reactions and that kind of thing. And yeah, I mean, I've had him on my channel 3 times. And yeah, he is a good source of oh, wrong. I've already done that one. Um, do 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 do. Amberly, Dr. Paul Mason makes the complicated understandable and is such a lovely guy. Yeah, agreed. Okay. Do do do. Okay, here we go. Jay Vareth. Would you know when eating all this meat, should we be concerned about parasites or does the body take care of that issue? Mm, I'm not concerned just because I don't think about it, to be honest. I don't know. I don't know why we would be worried. Like as I mean, we've been eating meat for so long. I'm not sure why we should be worried about that. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe I'm not reading something into your question I should be, but yeah, I'm not worried about it at all. Um, okay. Keel beans. Great to see you celebrating. So, in Melbourne, in Melbourne, Australia, we've got a version of cool beans. It's cool bananas. Yeah, although probably the kids these days don't say it, but when I was a kid, we said cool bananas. Um, okay. The expressions on Bart's face are hilarious. I agree. Yeah. Do do do. Angie, thank you so much. Congratulations on your channel, Dave. You've been an inspiration to all of us. I love Bart K also. He's very knowledgeable and funny. Yeah. Yeah. But if you haven't seen that one where he reacts to the lady from the ABC, it's well worth a watch. And actually, I'll try and find everyone the link for that now because it is definitely worth the watch. All right, so I'm just looking for that at the moment. But I'll also, while I'm looking for that, I'll also continue with questions. Okay, so Betsy Baggins, sorry, not Boggins, Baggins. Betsy Baggins, Dave, you figured out a really good niche in the carnivore community. These interviews are really interesting, somewhat different every time, and no two are alike. You reminded me of Dick Cavett. Oh, I'll have to look up who Dick Cavett is, but thank you. Um, but I appreciate the kind words, Betsy. Okay. All right. Where are we? Where are we? Okay. Woo. Okay. Mary, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And it's in the middle of we have a sense of humor. Look, I can't Great. You have a sense of humor. Not saying you don't have a sense of humor. I'm just saying I think there's sometimes culturally things can be taken more literally than they're intended. I think, same vice versa. I've lived in America and when I first arrived in America, a lot of things American people would say to me, I'd take literally and go, "Oh, hang on, no, that was meant as a joke, or that was kind of a good ribbing, or something like that." Um, So, Bart K is the best and funniest and most sarcastic videos I've seen, and I'm a Yank from the South. Nice. Yeah, he's great. Um, okay, Brooke, have you ever seen The Psycho Vegan Teacher? Oh, yes. Yeah, you're talking about, this her name is That Vegan Teacher or something like that, the singing one. She commented on one of my videos recently, and it was like, I don't know, "Why don't you love animals?" or something was the comment, and it was like, what? Why don't you love animals?" And it was like, "Well, why don't you love animals? Why don't you care about the mice or the squirrels or whatever you're chopping up to get your corn and stuff?" Um, but yeah, I think that's something that'll never die. But yeah, That Vegan Teacher, but I've never reacted to That Vegan Teacher because I always thought there was something a bit off, something not quite, yeah. So yeah, but maybe that is just a persona. Angie, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Um, hey, how you doing? Um, I agree with Betsy. Dick Cavett, you're helping us all share stories and providing great info. How much time do you spend on this a week? You do get out now and then, right? Yeah, I do. I have to kind of be moving around. Even if I'm at home, I have to be moving around from time to time because I can't keep sitting here all day, or yeah, my legs will go to sleep and I'll never stand up again. But yeah, I get out. I'm gonna definitely gonna have to look up Dick Cavett at some point. Because yeah, never heard of him, but yeah. Oh, Justin, what do you think of Flight of the Conchords? It's years since I've seen it, so I don't know like how the humor has aged because that's got to be 10, 15 years old now, right? But when I first saw it, I loved it. The episode that stands out to me is the one where they I can't remember the names of the guys, but one of the guys meets an Australian girl, and he stays at her house, and like she sleeps under an Australian flag, and she's got lots of Australian kind of weird kind of bogany stuff around her, and her name is Keitha. So it's like Keith with an A at the end, and I thought that was just so funny. Her name was so funny, Keitha. But yeah, Flight of the Concords was great. Some of their stage stuff was good too. Like they've got some good videos on YouTube of them singing together, and they were pretty awesome. Um, okay. So while I'm talking, I'm also scrolling through Bart's videos because I want to find that one for you so I can give you all the link. But yeah, okay. So another question. Dun, 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 dun. Hey, Bob. Oh, and also, Bob's birthday is coming up, and Bob's got his birthday bash on tomorrow, so make sure you tune into that. I'm going to join probably for the last half of the second half of the birthday bash. But yeah, make sure you head over to Bob's channel and click the notify link to get so that you can get on for his birthday bash. That's Friday evening US time. Okay. So, metabolic paramedic. If you want to reconnect with Scottish humor, you should look up Chewing the Fat. Fabulous and stay. Oh, I will do that. Speaking of Scottish humor, I was watching some stand up yesterday, or listening to some stand up yesterday from Kevin Bridges. and, he's actually I think he's from Clydebank as well, so same part as around near me, and, like, some of the words he was using, it just took me straight back to my childhood, like, describing someone as a cow or, saying hen when you finish your sentence talking to a lady and all that kind of thing. It was, yeah, it was kind of funny. But Kevin Bridges is great. Um, but chewing the fat, I'll take a note of that one. Okay, Colorado TRO. Dave, how long have you been off coffee? Major benefits, bringing it back ever. It is my last thing to cut out, but I love it. Black only, of course. So I've got an admission here. I did make an admission on another live stream recently, but this is probably, um, you know, um, I'm making another admission. So I have put coffee back. Um, it wasn't because I was dying for the coffee. It was because not having the coffee was making me, because I don't sleep so much, but when I'm not drinking coffee, it really, the tiredness just was overwhelming. And I was kind of editing video or whatever during the day, and I just suddenly go, "Whoa." And so I was running behind with a lot of things, like video-wise and not video-wise, and, I was like, I've gotta push through this. I've gotta get all this stuff done. I've gotta go and, pick up my daughter. I've gotta do this, gotta do this, gotta do this, and so I had a cup of coffee, and, so it's been about a month or so I've had it back in, but the plan is that I will still be getting it out because it's not good. But, yeah, it's, yeah, I had to put it back in just to stay awake. So that I mean, obviously, the message to me is not that I should have been having coffee back, but I should have been trying to sleep more, but, just at this moment, I'm not able to. Um, okay. So, yes, it did, Angie. It very much did. Yeah, but, even now that I've added it back, I'm not drinking it as much as I was, which, I mean, that's a good thing, but I would like to get it out. Yeah, um, so okay, here we go. Desperate for discount. Did your sleep improve during the time you quit coffee? Yes, it did. Yeah, so much so that I was almost asleep while I was working as well. Like, and that doesn't happen to me normally. Like, I'm not normally this kind of person that goes, "Oh, I feel tired during the day," kind of thing. And I was literally sitting there. If I wasn't moving, like moving my legs or something, then I was just, you know. Um, so it's the kind of state you don't want to be in if you drive a car. That like I would have been dangerous behind a wheel if I'd had a car. So, Christy, how you doing? Dave, don't forget to tell everyone that it's fun to tell their story. And like you said, real average stories are just as impactful to listeners because they are relatable. Yes. So that's a good point, Christy. Yeah, everyone, remember that it is fun to tell your story. And again, you get to laugh at me. Um, so, there's that, but it is fun to be able there's a great feeling to be able to just get your story out, like, yourself, if you're sitting at I don't know, you meet someone, you're at a party, you're talking to someone, and they ask you a question that kind of opens up to tell me what happened with this part of your life or whatever. And it's like, oh, okay, they're going to listen. And it feels really nice to be able to talk about what's happened on your journey. So, yeah, it's really good to be able to do that. And, on Christie's point about the average stories are just as impactful, they really are. And I often, on what would most people would probably think are the average kind of stories. It's not like they're like, again, I lost 1,000,000 pounds. Woohoo! It's just that, yeah, I'm feeling so much better. Often those videos do really, really well. And those are the videos that get a lot of the comments. And again, one of the reasons is because when people are watching them, they take, like, people watch them and they go, "Oh, that thing that person said, that was so interesting. I'd never thought of it like that before." Or, you know, or, "Oh, that's the way that was working. That's why I felt like that." And every interview has these little insights, little bits and pieces that you can pick up from them. So, doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter how you feel about whether your story's interesting or not. People will find it interesting. So please, have a laugh at me, enjoy telling your story. Send me an email to realzerocarb@gmail.com. Thank you for that, Christy. Okay, so, Borgrunter, will you be planning to get a blend tech, Vitamix, or other professional blender for blending steak smoothies? Yeah, we've got one of those, those long, in Australia, we used to call them a bar mix, but that's a brand name. Like, those sticks that you just press the button on the top and it's got the little blade at the bottom. We've got one of those. You go, you know, I don't know how well that'd blend up a steak, but yeah. Okay. What's this one say? Amberley, I came across a suggested video of a guy claiming he had several strokes and no one in the carnivore community wants to interview him. Would you like for me to email you his details? Um, are you talking about Tom from Frugal Prepper? If you're talking about Tom from Frugal Prepper, I saw that video and my comment disappeared, but for some reason my comments disappear a lot on videos. I commented on there. I said, "You're welcome on my channel anytime," and he has been on my channel twice. So once before the stroke and once after the stroke. So yeah, he's welcome on my channel anytime. Um, yeah. So I guess that's who you were talking about, Amberly. Okay. Colorado TRO. Your vids have helped me stay on point in recent months. Love your interview style. You were made for this. Oh, thank you very much. That's very kind of you to say. Yeah. Carnivore meat eaters. Carnivore. Hey, how you going? Dave, I bought a steak flipper from a welder who made it out of a railroad spike. The coolest thing ever, plus a good weapon. Oh, wow. That's awesome, Rosanna. Wow. That's so cool. I'm just trying to imagine the weight of that. Um, yeah. Wow. Cheers, Cassandra. I can confirm it's really fun to tell your story. Do it. Thanks, Cassandra. Yeah, and Cassandra's been featured in 2 videos now. Her interview, which we did the other day, and the diabetes, the meat causes diabetes rebuttal video, the Harvard rebuttal video that you can see on the front page of my channel. Okay. That's it. Immersion blender. That's it. Not a bar mix. Okay. Angie, thanks for your work, Dave. Gonna go to sleep. Cheers, Angie, and appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in. I wonder if Chris Cooking Nashville could come up with a carnival waffle cone and jumbo shot almond fudge ice cream. Oh, that sounds nice. Oh my goodness, that sounds too nice. Yeah. Was that, will you be planning to get okay, I've already done that one. Okay, guys. So we are over an hour now, and I can feel myself starting to lose my voice. So I better head off. But I appreciate you all coming on and joining me at our most congested. We had about 153 people in the stream, which was awesome. Thank you so much for all your I'm going to cry now. Thank you so much for your congratulations, and thank you so much for helping me get here in the first place. And yeah, I really appreciate you all. Thank you. See you soon.